What up, YouTube? Today we're going to be doing the rear brakes on a 2004 Saab 9.5 wagon. Stay tuned. One, go ahead and take off your wheels. This vehicle has the fun style lug studs where they're backwards like a German vehicle and the wheel will just fall right off, but in this case it's rather rusty and that didn't happen, so we're good. It's a good idea. Go ahead and clean this off towards the end if needed. We'll go ahead and show you the other side. This is what you can be looking at in some more extreme cases that can really keep your wheel from coming off. So it's definitely good to clean that off while you're here. Alright, so here on the rear brakes we've got a star bolt inside the rotor holding it on. So we're going to go ahead and use a socket. We're going to attempt to hold the rotor in place while we crack that loose. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right here on the rear brakes, once you get your rotor screw out, you want to go ahead and grab this spring and just give it a little pull and it'll pop out of there and land on the floor somewhere behind you. Here we are on the other side, driver rear. We're going to do the same thing. Pop it out of there. And then we should be able to just kind of pull it out. Alright, so once you got your rotor screw off and your clip or your spring retainer deal off there, you want to come back here and you can use your fingernail or you can use a screwdriver and you want to pop these caps off of there. Try not to lose them. And then that will give you access to the Allen bolts that holds your caliper on. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side here. Popping those off. There's one. And then here is the second one. As you can see, those bolts. Alright, so on the rear, we're pretty dang close to the spring. So in order to use an Allen socket, you may have a spring coil in your way. So it helps to have a helper to raise or lower the spring up for you, so you can get your ratchet in place on the socket. There we go. And that way we can get both of these out. And of course you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. All right, once you get them bolts out on the back side, you can go ahead and just slide that caliper off of there. The rear brake pad, or the inner one, just kind of clips into the piston, and the other one kind of slides into the bracket there. As you can see, it's got a little hook on it. That's the one that goes into the caliper, and the other one just slides into the bracket once you got it in place. Then you can kind of bungee your caliper up here on the side. And then of course, I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. This menu, oh, there we go. So this one just kind of pops out, and then you got to pull this one down to get it out. And then you want to set it up somewhere or bungee it up so it doesn't fall. So you want to go ahead and remove the 19mm bolts for your rear caliper brackets.
Don't strip it.
Or break it. I want to do that on the top and bottom, as well as the other side. Once you get your caliper bracket off, you can go ahead and shimmy the rotor loose here, and then it should also come off for you. Then you can see your parking brake. Now's a good time to adjust, check, clean, replace all of that as well. Next, we're going to move on to compressing the caliper piston. Alright, we're going to go ahead and clean all of this up, make it look real nice again. Look at all that dirty grime coming off of there. We're going to make her good again. And of course, we're going to do this on the other side as well. Great success. thing you want to do, take a wire brush. Obviously you want to hold it with one hand while you're doing this, but you want to go ahead and sand off the hub surface as well as this surface here, because that can keep your wheels from coming off for you. So clean that up to the best of your ability. If you got an air compressor and a whiz wheel, go ahead and sand that off as well. That would work great also. And of course you want to do the same thing on the other side. Once you get all this cleaned up, sanded off, you can go ahead, put on your brand new rotor.
Oh wait, is that the right one?
Yep. And you want to line up them bolt holes and make sure that this lines up with one of the screw holes as well. Once you get that on, you get your screw in place. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. Alright, so on the rear brakes, we're going to go ahead and take the caliper and our caliper piston tool. We're going to use it just like a ratchet wrench, and it's going to push these two brake pad shaped pieces of metal apart from each other. That's going to push the piston in. Whenever it bottoms out, you reverse it, take it out, you got a flat piston again, making room for new brake pads. Of course, you want to take this tool to the other side and do the same thing again. Good idea to go ahead and put your caliper brackets in a vise and clean them up real good with a wire brush before installing any new hardware or greasing them. And once you get all of that cleaned up with your wire brush, you can go ahead and grease the appropriate spots. You want to do this on both sides or on all four if you're doing all the brakes. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put the bracket back on. Went ahead and sprayed some of that dust off with some brake cleaner. Reinstalling these 19mm bolts. And we're going to move on to the pads. Alright, and then once you get your rotor on, you can put a little grease on the ears. Make sure it slides back and forth. This outer pad just literally goes in just like that. And then on the inner pad, it just clips on into the caliper piston. We can take this caliper. If you want to put a little grease on there, and then go ahead and slide the caliper over. Make sure it moves back and forth a little, where you can see your pads moving side to side. Then you can go ahead and slide your bolts back on into the back. And then of course you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then once you get your bolts in, don't forget to put these caps back on. Keeps everything nice and greased up and keeps the moisture and debris out of there. Then of course, once again, you want to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, and then once we got to that step, we're going to go ahead and put the top part in. Get your ear on the center part of the caliper there. And then what I like to do is just kind of pry these over on the bottom into place. And that should be good to go. It helps quite a bit to have the correct size. So once again, I like to come in from the top, kind of get this piece on there too. That way they're both locked in like that. And then I kind of put that in there if possible, or you can come from this side and try to push it up into place, whatever works better for you. Ended up having to use the help of the pliers, but I did get them back in, no problem. And I'm sure you expected, do the same thing on the other side. I had put some grease on there to keep the wheel from getting stuck. And now your brakes should be looking good on both sides. If you followed the steps in this video, then both sides should be looking like this, nice and brand new, with some grease on the outside to keep your wheel from getting stuck, with your clips on, your pads in, everything's cleaned up and looking good. That's going to be the end of the video for today, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and check out one of these videos. And otherwise, I will see you on the next one.